right, so the first thing we want to talk about in this section as we prepare to dive into the topic of circles is the distance formula. And this will become more clear why in a second. So let's just start with, how do we calculate the distance between any 2 points in the plane? So I've got 2 points here, marked x1, y1, and x2, y2. And I've sketched in the line between them. And what I'm looking for when I'm talking about the distance is the length of that line that goes between those 2 points. And we're going to actually talk about where the distance formula comes from. So if I think about getting from point 1 to point 2 by traveling only along the dots, so I can only go vertically and horizontally. So that would be my path between the 2 points. Now, if we think about what I just did, I started at point 1 and I went down until I got to x2. So the length of this line here is really x2 minus x1. And then when I started moving horizontally, I moved from y1 to y2. So the length of this line is y2 minus y1. Now, if you notice, what we've got here is our good old friend, the right triangle. And Pythagoras tells us that d squared is equal to x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And that's one form of the distance formula. We're used to seeing it written as d equals the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And this then is the distance formula. Now, what in the heck does that have to do with circles? Well, it has to do with circles because if we think about what a circle is, the mathematical definition of a circle is the set of all points equidistant from one fixed point. So I've got a circle here, and I've written some things on here, and we're going to talk about what that is. So the set of all points is every point on this line. Those points are all a distance r from this fixed point, the center. So what that means is that my radius, my distance that defines my circle, my radius is the distance between my center point and any point on the circle. So if I write that as the distance formula, what that gets me is the top half of my circle. I want the whole thing, so I square both sides of my equation, and I get r squared equals x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. And this is the equation of a circle with radius r and center HK. So let's practice. Let's write the equation of this circle that is shown. We know the equation of the circle is r squared equals x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. My radius, so let's start with the coordinates at my center point. My center point, we can read the coordinates off of the grid here, is at 3, 2. So I know that HK equals 3, 2, which means that H equals 3 and K equals 2. My radius, I can just move horizontally, and since I can read the coordinates of this guy right here as 8, 2, I know the distance between those is just going to be the difference in x's because the y's are equal. So my radius is 5. So that means that 5 squared is equal to x minus 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared, or 25 equals x minus 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared. And this is the equation of that circle that is shown. All right, I'm going to stop here and we're going to come back and do a couple more examples in another video.